Can you can you believe that 3 weeks ago was the release of Scarlet and Violet 151? It feels almost like it was just yesterday, but 3 weeks ago we got the ETBs, we got the poster collection, we got the binder collection, those and the booster bundle if you can find them. Those all came out, and then last week we had the release of the Ultra Premium collection, the mini tins, the Zapdos box, and the Alakazam box. It's been 3 weeks that Scarlet and Violet 151 came out. Today we're going to look at the price changes as far as singles go. Very, very strange. This is honestly like a set that we have not seen before. And it all boils down to demand, to kind of try and figure out what's going on with these singles, when you should be buying them, when the best opportunity is. So that way you spend the least amount of money when it comes to your collection dollars. Because the main goal, obviously, is to make this hobby as affordable as it possibly can. So that way you can get the most enjoyment out of it. But we're only, I mean, what, 2.5 weeks away from Halloween? We're like 3.5 weeks away from the release of Paradox Rift. Hey, what a time to be alive. It's absolutely crazy. Another great thing about today is that we are giving away 4 Ultra Premium collections to 1 lucky subscriber. So we've got the Sword and Shield one right here. We've also got the Celebrations Ultra Premium collection. We've got the Charizard Ultra Premium collection. And we've got the Scarlet and Violet 151 Ultra Premium collection. And we are giving away every one of those to 1 lucky subscriber. And I'm going to pull up who that is here. The winner is the Modern Jack channel. The Modern Jack channel. Congratulations. Your name, your comment, was randomly selected by the random comment picker. The Modern Jack channel, congratulations. You are the winner of all 4 of those Ultra Premium collections. It was super cool. I just need your information. So just message me on Instagram. You can find me at danny.phantump. You can find me on Twitter at danny__o, or you can just email me, dannyphantumpcontent@gmail.com. Just need to verify your YouTube credentials, get your mailing information, then send it out. It's that easy. If you didn't win, that's okay. We like to give stuff away. We're going to keep giving stuff away. And one of my subscribers is going to win something really cool. And that the details for that is going to be next week Friday's video. So if you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. Make sure you're here next week Friday. I've got a really fun video planned. It's like $500 of stuff that we're giving. I don't want to spoil anything. It's really, really fun. You're going to have to let me know what you think of it. But we're going to stop rambling, Fanny. Let's just talk about what you said we were going to talk about today. So I'm going to flip you guys around because we're going to go over the singles for Scarlet and Violet 151. So what I did was, we've got snips on the left-hand side of the TCG Player listings on Friday morning of release day. So basically Friday morning of release day, right before TCG Player kind of opened their floodgates for anybody. If you don't understand how TCG Player works exactly, you can sell pre-order cards, singles, sealed product, and things like that if you are an authorized and verified brick and mortar pre-order store by TCG Player. So this would be the last few minutes that those stores exclusively are able to sell stuff. After a certain time in the morning on release day of items, then it's free reign. Anybody can sell on TCG Player. So you can head over to TCG Player right now, make an account for yourself, and begin selling on that platform. And the reason I like looking at those numbers is it gives us a good indicator of how substantial drops are. So we've got on the left-hand side the market price right before the floodgates kind of opened. And then the first number that you look at, the current price and price drop, these are the numbers from 2 weeks ago. So we looked at the numbers 2 weeks ago, like that Charizard EX, basically dropping in market price from $125.98 down to $120.45 a week after release, which was about a 4.25% drop. Now I pulled this information yesterday, the right-hand column, that's the number we're going to be paying attention to see 2 weeks later now, so 3 weeks after release, how things have looked. It's a fun thing to track because it gives you a good idea of when to kind of pull the trigger when it comes to buying. Now, the important thing to remember is Scarlet and Violet 151 does have all of their products that have been released. So there has not been any announcements of additional products that are going to be coming out. Now, that could change. Crown Zenith obviously got that Lugia box that was kind of random that came out at GameStop as an exclusive. So there could be more Scarlet and Violet 151 exclusive products that come out down the road. That wouldn't necessarily surprise me. We are expecting a restock, reprint of ETBs or UPCs or more product in general that are going to be coming out at the end of October. So smaller than what the initial wave was, the initial allocation was, but still more that is going to be coming. So if you've been struggling to find a little bit of it, you still want to crack some open, be patient. There's going to be more coming, especially as we hit the holiday season. And as more product gets opened, then the singles should theoretically start dropping more. But this is very interesting because if you look at the singles, and we're going to go through through them individually here, there's a lot of them that are starting to go up in price. Usually what you see is about 2 weeks after release is kind of the sweet spot when it comes to buying singles because a ton of product has been opened. However, with these waved releases, much like what we saw with Crown Zenith, a lot of things started out kind of increased a little bit, and now over the last couple weeks, demand has kind of set in, supply has kind of fallen, and we're seeing singles rise. So you might see some singles continue to go up a little bit, tick up a little bit. Don't FOMO or anything like that. Be patient if you're trying to chase a master set, open product for fun. Obviously, keep the packs as cheap as you can. Booster bundles are going to be your best bet if you can find those at MSRP. If you can't find those, look for mini tins, things like that, so you can keep that pack price down somewhere around $5 or less. And then don't overspend when it comes to opening, then focus on singles. Obviously, we have more sets that are going to be coming out, and these single prices should continue to go down over time. I don't know if they'll go down as far as maybe some people would like, but I don't expect this Charizard EX to see like Moonbreon prices because the pull rates, while they're not super great, you know, you're looking at 1 out of every 32-ish packs for a special illustration rare, they're way better than what it would be for an alternate art from the Sword and Shield generation. So looking at the Charizard to kind of start things out here, you're looking at a market price of about $126 on release day. It did drop not far, only about $6 that first week, so it dropped about 4.25%. It has gone down since then. However, Charizard, this artwork is clearly being defined or clearly being kind of stamped as the most important artwork or the favorite artwork for the entire set, or maybe it's just Charizard that's leading the way because Charizard is such a popular Pokemon, but you're only looking at about 2% drop since then. So over the past couple weeks, it's only fallen about 2 more percent. It's dropped down to 117.80, which is actually up a tick from where it was last week. Last weekend, I was vending the Peoria Regionals, and I was looking at Charizard EX as a price point to price cards and buy cards, and this market price was down to about 109. So it's gone up about $8 over the past week. So it wouldn't surprise me if this trickled back up to about 130 or 140 as far as market price goes until we get additional waves of product that comes out. But Charizard EX doing extremely well right now in the market. The same cannot be said for Erica's Invitation. This card has actually fallen quite a bit. Obviously, this card in Pokemon 151, the Japanese set, did extremely well. Definitely the chase card of the set. However, the Scarlet and Violet 151 not doing as well. It was 77.06 on release day. It dropped about 25% over the opening week, and now it's fallen an additional 32.25%. So it's dropped down to about $39.18, which is fairly low for some full art supporters, especially of the special illustration rare caliber. Erica's Invitation, not the most playable card in the world, which obviously isn't going to help, so you're not seeing Iono numbers or anything like that, but it has fallen considerably all the way down below $40, which makes it a lot easier for collectors to start snatching up cards at relatively cheap prices. The Zapdos EX has been very flat over the past couple weeks. You can see it dropped about 20% opening week. It fell from $58 down to about $46.64. It's only dropped a couple of quarters since then, so it's sitting at $46.23 currently, so it's only fallen 0.88%, so not even 1%. The Erica's Invitation full art, this one has gotten absolutely destroyed over the past couple weeks. It started out of the gates fairly expensive at $53.79, dropped about 57% opening weekend down to that $23.11 mark. Now it's fallen an additional 41% on top of that, so all the way down to $13.17. So if you're somebody who's looking at getting an Erica's Invitation full art, now might be the time that you want to start looking at it, start checking off some of these singles. What I like to do is make a spreadsheet of all the cards in the set that I'm looking for, and then attach price points with them to coincide with them as far as what I'm looking to pay on them. So not overspending or anything like that. Maybe Erica's Invitation is like, okay, well, I want to buy this card for $10. Anything over $10, I'm not going to pull the trigger. But then you continuously look at the card price to see when does it get to that point. $13.17, obviously starting to fall down in price to that price point. Mew EX, obviously the most competitive card in the set, and it's a good thing there are plenty of them out there because that is keeping the price points down. This is the full art variant or the ultra rare variant. There's also a regular art. There's also a gold card, and now we've got that sunset promo that's in the UPC that's really keeping prices somewhat down for this Mew EX. $51.89 is what it came out as on opening day. It did fall down that first week about 53% down to $24.23. It has dropped since then about 9.5%. So only a single digit drop down to $21.91. The special illustration Venusaur EX has been very flat, pretty much ever since its release, you're looking at basically single digit drops as far as percentage goes. It came out at $46.43. It did drop about 9% that opening week down to $42.27, but it's only fallen about 3% since then. So it's down to $40.83. It is falling, but much slower than what I think a lot of people anticipated. The Blastoise EX, probably one of the best performers in this set, doing extremely well. A lot of hype behind this Blastoise EX. Still much cheaper than the Charizard EX, but if you look at the price point on opening day, you could have had this card for $43.24. That opening week, it actually went up about 12.5%, so it climbed up to $48.66. But now, since then, over the past couple weeks, it's went up even further, so it's sitting 13.3% higher than where it was 2 weeks ago, sitting at $55.13 currently, and continuing to trend in that upward direction. The full art Charizard EX, or the ultra rare Charizard EX, if you prefer to call it that, started out at $35.31. It dropped about 17.25% down to $29.17 that opening week. It's been very flat since then. It's only dropped about 1 percentage point. It's sitting at $28.88 currently. A lot of full arts in this set. A lot of those ultra rares are actually performing very, very well. Some of them have actually gone up in price, which we'll look at in a minute here. But the full arts with the outlines, I think a lot of people are more excited about them. Plus, they're a little bit more difficult to pull than what we've seen in previous sets. Plus, with a lot of the nostalgia and the throwbacks, a lot more collectible to pull one of the original 151, which I think is getting a lot of people excited as well. Here is that secret rare Mew EX, that hyper rare that we were talking about before. Came out of the gates at $34.20, dropped about 26%. Opening week down to $25.18. It has fallen a lot more since then. 35.42%. It's fallen down to that $16.26 mark. Make sure if you are looking to buy that card, don't confuse it with the gold card. The gold card currently is selling for $7. About the metal card specifically is what I'm talking about from the UPC. They look exactly alike, so unless you're feeling them in your hand, it can get very confusing for some people. The illustration rare Charmander, a lot of the basic Pokemon from these starters are doing extremely well, and this Charmander is no exception. It has fallen a little bit over the past couple weeks, but you can see out of the gates it started out at $28.42, and then it gained almost 30% in its first week. So this is just an illustration rare that jumped all the way up to $36.85. Now it has lost quite a bit, basically back to where it was on opening day. It's fallen down 22%, but still $28.68 for an illustration rare. You're closing in on obviously like Magikarp territory, which is still quite a bit higher than that, but still higher than Tyranitar, higher than Raichu when it comes to illustration rares. A lot of these basic Pokemon doing extremely well, much like the second stage, or the first stage, Ivysaur, that we're going to look at next. This one has gone up a considerable amount over the past couple weeks. This came out of the gates at $27.24. It did drop about 51.5% down to $13.21, and it has risen quite a bit over the past couple weeks. It's gone up 43%, up to $18.90 currently. The Alakazam EX dropped. It actually went up about 65% opening week. So it came out at $26.72. That's what you could have bought this card at on opening day. Jumped up over the first week up to $44.14, which is a 65% gain, and now it has lost a little bit. It's dropped about 15%, but still $37.49 is where it's currently sitting, about $11 over where it was on release day. Bills Transfer, this one dropped significantly opening week, so it has gone up a little bit. This started out at $26.45, dropped about 81%, which is a huge drop. We saw some of those numbers in the 80 percentages when we did this with like Battle Styles. This was a huge drop. Dropped to about $5.08 now. It's gained about 61 cents since then, so it's sitting at $5.69, about a 12% gain over the last couple weeks. For the most part, relatively flat when you consider the fact it's only went up $1, but the percentages are obviously higher when the numbers are much lower. Pikachu, the illustration rare Pikachu, started out $25.51. It did drop that opening week down to $18.34, so it saw about a 28% drop. It's gone back to basically where it was, a little bit under where it was on opening day, so it's gained about 21% over the past couple weeks, sitting at $22.18. The regular art Charizard EX, these regular arts are always very interesting because you pull more of them, so if there's value associated with regular arts, it definitely makes the set more enjoyable to open for some people because they have more value for those ancillary hits. The Charizard EX obviously still has a little bit of value associated with it. It came out very strong at $22.69. Does have a little bit of competitive potential with it, which helps out a lot, but it did drop 65.5% opening week down to $7.81. It has dropped a little bit more, another 16.75%. It's currently sitting at $6.50. If we look at the full art Golem, this card has actually gone up about 20% over the past couple weeks after a 62% drop in its first week, 62.5% drop. So it's gone from $4.81 up to $5.79 over the past couple weeks. Caterpie also doing extremely well. We've seen this card go up about 18% over the past couple weeks. It dropped in its first week down to $5.61, which was a 54% drop, then went up about 18% currently, where it's sitting at $6.63. The double rare or ultra rare Wigglytuff EX dropped 50% opening week down to $5.65. It has gone up about 36.64%, so it's currently sitting at $7.72. Switch has been absolutely destroyed. This gold Switch not performing very well at all, despite the fact that it does have some competitive potential, but lots of other variations of Switch that you could also play in your deck, including other secret rare variants. This one started out at $13.15. It did drop about 43% down to $7.54. Now it's dropped an additional 34% down to $4.98. Here's another basic Pokemon that we were talking about before, Squirtle. Definitely a fan favorite for a lot of people. Been very flat over the past couple weeks. Came out of the gates at $12.95, jumped up to $20.47, which is about a 58% gain over that first week, and then it's stayed flat over the past couple weeks. It's sitting at $20.46 currently. The regular art Blastoise EX, this card has dropped quite a bit, but still has a little bit of value associated with it, from $12.89 down to $6.89 opening week. That's about a 46.5% drop. It's gone down about 31.25% more, so it's currently sitting at $4.73. The full art Blastoise, or the ultra rare Blastoise, came out at $18.43. It did drop down about 21.5% down to $14.44. This one has also gained some steam over the past couple weeks, so it's up about 12%, currently sitting at $16.17. Like I said, those full arts, those ultra rares, are doing extremely well with their outlines. Obviously, the throwback to the original 151 makes a lot of people excited. The regular art Mew EX, the most expensive regular art in Scarlet and Violet 151 because of its competitive potential. Obviously, we had the Peoria regional last week. We have the Sacramento regional this week, so a lot of players need their copies of Mew EX. Came out on Friday, release day, at $16.19. It actually ended up going up a little bit, about 12.25% to that $18.17 mark. After the release of the Ultra Premium Collection, this card dropped extremely hard. It dropped about 42% over the past couple weeks, the majority of that happening over the past week as cheaper copies of the Mew kind of entered the market, which is very helpful. Dropped down to $10.54. The secret rare Psychic Energy, this one's actually performing about expected from what we've seen out of the secret rare energy cards, especially from the Scarlet and Violet block. This came out at $15.65. It dropped down to $9.02, which is about a 42% drop. It has dropped a little bit more, so it's currently sitting at $7.59, which is about a 16% drop over the past couple weeks. The Zapdos EX full art went from $19.23 down to $9.15, so a 52% drop opening week. It did go up now over the past couple weeks, which is interesting because we've had more products that have come out. You would expect the prices to kind of go down a little bit further. This card has actually gone up about 12.5%, currently sitting at $10.29. The Tangela has seen huge gains over the past couple weeks. It dropped 77.75% opening week down to $4.26. Now it's jumped up about 61.5% to that $6.88 mark. The Giovanni's Charisma Special Illustration Rare, this one did fall about 5% opening week, and now it's dropped about another 22.5% over the past couple weeks, currently sitting at $13.86. The Charmeleon and the Wartortle, both of these have gone up a little bit. So this first stage, the stage one of the starters, doing very, very well. Ivysaur, obviously, we saw gain some ground as well. This one went from $21.95 opening day down to $14.91 a week later, so about a 32% drop, and now it's gained 12.5% of that back, currently sitting at $16.80. The Wartortle went from about $21 down to $12.41, so that one saw about a 41% drop. Now it's gained about 34.25% back, so it's currently sitting at $16.66. Another full art of the starter Pokemon, so the Venusaur EX went from $19.98, lost a huge amount, 58% opening week down to $8.31, but it's gained 52% of that back, so it's currently sitting at $12.73, doing extremely well. The Nidoking, I think we only have a couple of slides left here. This has been a very long video, so I appreciate you guys staying with me. The Nidoking illustration rare went from $11.10 down to $7.14. It saw about a 36% drop opening week. It has gone back up a little bit, about 20% of a gain, up to $8.57. The Giovanni's Charisma full art or ultra rare really starting to close in on that special illustration rare. It's sitting at $5.77. cents. Currently, it's gone up about 22% over the past couple weeks after seeing a 57% drop that opening week. The Poliwhirl has gone up even more than it was on opening day. So this one went from $10.81 down to $9.95. Saw about an 8% drop opening week, and now it's moved up over the past couple weeks, sitting at $11.61, about a 17% gain. The Ninetales has done extremely well, back up to where it started. It started out at $10.58, dropped about 40% opening week down to $6.41, and now it's gone up about 65%. So it's currently sitting at $10.59. The Bulbasaur has just been gaining and gaining and gaining ever since it came out, from $9.99, doubled in price up to $18.86. That's an 88.79% gain over the first week. Now it's gone up an additional 2.5%, sitting at $19.34 currently. The Alakazam EX full art went from $9.35 on opening day down to over to $9.36 on a week later. So it stayed very flat. Now it's stayed flat after that as well. It's only down about 2.5% since then. So currently sitting at $9.12. Daisy's Help not doing too well. Didn't start out very well. Went from $9.10 down to $5.03 that opening week. So it dropped about 44.73%. It's jumped up about 14.75% to $5.75 or $5.77. The Machoke illustration rare went from $9.07 down to $5. So suffered about a 45% drop opening week. Now it's gained 91% since then. So it's back above where it started at $9.55. I'm not going to go over the Venusaur. That one has gone down to about a bulk EX basically. Kangaskhan has done extremely well. The full art here went from $7.95 opening day down to $3.38. So about what we expect from a lot of full arts, a 58% drop, 57.5%, but it's gone up 114% since then, up to $7.26. So back where it started. Mr. Mime illustration rare. This is another card that has gone up from $7.92 opening day to $4.26 a week later. That's a 46% drop, but now it's back up to $4.95. That's a 16% jump. The Arbok EX higher than where it started, went from $7.01 down to $4.21 opening week. That's about a 40% drop. Now it's gone up 70.5% to $7.18. And the last two that we're going to look at, the Dragonair right here, this one has gained and gained and gained, much like what we saw from that Bulbasaur. This started out at $6.34 opening day. A week later, it was already at $14.41. That's a 127% gain. Now it's gone up an additional 3% over the past 2 weeks, so it's sitting at $14.87 currently. The Psyduck has been very flat over the past couple weeks. Went from $5.54 opening day all the way up to $8.96 a week later, so about a 61.75% growth. And now it's basically stayed the same. It's sitting at $8.92, so less than a percentage point of a drop on that one as well. I know it's a lot of information, but I think it's important to continue to track the singles so you know the best time to kind of pull the trigger on what your favorite ones are or what your missing pieces are. It's all about putting together a puzzle, finding the best price point, keeping the hobby as affordable as you possibly can. That's kind of the goal. If you enjoy the content, please hit that subscribe button down below. Leave a like, leave a comment, share the video. It goes a really long way for the algorithm. Make sure you're here. I mean, every day we post, but next Friday is going to be a lot of fun, so I hope to see you guys there. Thank you so much just for taking the time to be here, to watch, to listen to me ramble. I love this stuff. I love you guys. I really appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for everything. I'll talk to you again in a couple days. Until next time, peace.